biggest crowd we've had. Thank you. So this is a very important part of the year for Vaishnavas. This is the time of the year when there is special mercy available. In order to make progress in our spiritual life, we require mercy. And mercy is given accordingly. But in this month, the mercy is freely given. That is, that any effort in devotional service has great benefit. More benefit than it does normally. The time of the year where it's also called the month of Srimati Radharani, as Magashirsha is the next month, which is the month of Krishna, and so this month is Radharani's month, but we also honor Krishna in his baby form as Damodara by hearing the wonderful pastimes of the Lord and offering our love in the form of a candle, a illuminating light, which indicates our bhakti. Now, this is a very wonderful opportunity to move forward in a very, what we say, quick way in our spiritual life this particular month. And there's only 5 days left. Is that correct? It's it ends on the 5th or the 6th? 5th? 5th? Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These 5 last days are called Bhishma Panchika. We perform a little extra austerity during this time with some additional fasting. And there is greater benefit. Bhakti actually manifests through austerity. Austerity means to give up what we like and accept what Krishna wants. And denying ourselves from certain things that we like and using that time to worship the Lord and to glorify the Lord. In this month, glorification of the Lord is the worship of the Lord in the form of these beautiful prayers, which we will sing later, known as Damodara Astakam. And there are many wonderful pastimes when Krishna was growing up. These childhood pastimes are so sweet that they charm the hearts of the devotees, especially those who are mothers. Mothers like babies. Fathers tolerate babies, mothers like babies. But mothers. So this is also Krishna's mother is Mother Yasoda. She's called Janani. Also, so we also honor Mother Yasoda in this particular month. And Krishna likes attention. We all like to get attention, don't we? If somebody gives us some attention, we feel some satisfaction, some happiness, some importance, some satisfaction. If we get attention, sometimes people do things just to get attention. There's even people who commit suicide just to get attention. It's true. They go out of their way just to get it. Getting attention is like one of the features of the material existence. That if I can get some attention, some rewards for whatever I do, or some appreciation for who I am, then I have feels like my life is somewhat successful. Somewhat, anyway. So, but Krishna, he likes to get attention. Because by giving him attention, we benefit. In the material world, if somebody gives us attention, they don't get much benefit from it. Maybe either do we. It's just some etiquette that goes on in the name of social interchange. But Krishna likes to get attention, so he does things just to get attention. So he steals butter. So he's a thief. We punish thieves, right? But Krishna is not punishable because his stealing is not stealing, because whatever he steals, it's his anyway. Because everything belongs to him. But playing the role of an ordinary person, he's actually stealing things that apparently are some other person. And one of the things he does is that he causes distress in a very wonderful way to the residents of Vrindavan. He would go to the houses of the other gopis, and then he would go to their babies and pinch the babies, and the babies would cry. Or sometimes he would put water in the ears of the babies. So he does things which, if some child in the material world does it, there's some immediate punishment. But the gopis, in the houses that he visits, they get angry at Krishna. Sometimes they try to catch Krishna and punish him. But when they see Krishna's face, they forget all about it. They get charmed by his beauty, by his sweetness, by his baby-like nature. And they forget about punishing Krishna. And he does that a lot. Sometimes he'll go and steal butter, yogurt, throw it all over the place, make a mess. He'll come and complain to Mother Yasoda. And Mother Yasoda would say, well, he's got nice butter here. I don't think what you're saying is true, because why would he go to your house? So she won't believe that her son does that. There's one lady, her name was Prabhavati, and she had really nice butter, and Krishna liked to go there and steal. Sometimes he would grab the tails of the cows and slide along the floor. Sometimes he would pass urine on the floor. So we think, is that the God I'm going to worship? But he does it to charm the hearts of those who are his devotees. And those who are not his devotees, they become amazed to understand, is this God? But he actually does it just to give pleasure to others. Of course, he also enjoys whatever he does too, because he is Rasavaisa. He is the embodiment of all happiness and pleasure. So when he gives happiness to others, he's also enjoying that. So this Prabhavati, she came to Mother Yasoda and she said, "Hey Mataji, your son keeps coming into my house and he steals my butter, throws it all over the place, and I can never catch him, but I know it's him. So I want you to punish him." And Mother Yasoda says, why would he go to your house? He's got so much butter. We have Nanda Maharaja, he has 900,000 cows. And there's one particular cow that they keep just for Krishna. They take the butter, the milk, whatever comes from that cow, and they give that to Krishna. It's the best of all cows. And that cow gets the best grasses, and the milk that cow gives is so fragrant, it permeates the whole atmosphere, and everyone becomes happy just smelling that fragrance. So she says, I don't think what you're saying is true. Somebody else, not my son. And then she knows it's Krishna, so she's thinking, I'm going to catch him. Going to catch him. Then Mother Yasoda will be convinced. So she knows that Krishna sneaks through this one window in the house. So she decides to make a plan to catch Krishna. So she takes bells, kind of loud bells, and she decorates the window with bells. She's thinking if Krishna comes, he always comes through this window, and then the bells will ring and I'll catch him. But then she's thinking, that's not enough. He's very, very crafty. he might get away. So she puts bells on the butter pot and hangs the butter pot up high. Now the whole scene is set, and Krishna's there, and he comes, and he's by the house on the outside. His friend Madhu Mangal comes. You know Madhu, one of the cowherd boys. He's kind of fat. He likes to eat. And what's his favorite food? Who knows? Ladus. He says, give me a ladu, and I'll give you a blessing. Because he's a Brahmin. He said, I bless Krishna too, because when he picks up Govardhan Hill, he can't do it without my blessings. So he's always making jokes. And so he comes, and Krishna says, hey, Madhu, this is the house. It's the best butter. Let's go. Madhu says, there's bells on the window. Krishna says, bells, they're my servants. And he orders the bells, don't ring. So they make their move. He opens the window. The bells are quiet. No noise. So now they're inside. It's a little dark, but Krishna has his own flashlight called his illumination, bodily effulgence. We get stuck in a dark room, we look for our cell phone. But Krishna has a built-in cell phone. He can just illuminate everything. He's walking through the house. They come to the area where the butter is. And then Krishna said, hey, Madhu, here it is. Madhu says, there's bells on the pot, Krishna. Krishna said, don't worry, bells are my servants. Bells don't ring. So he orders the bells. So he climbs on a chair, reaches up, grabs the butter pot, and bells are silent. Well then, Krishna reaches in, and as soon as he reaches in, guess who comes? The monkeys, headed by the king of all monkeys, Dahi Loba. Dahi Loba. So you catch the meaning, Dahi Loba? Dahi means curd. Loba means greedy. So he comes, he's always leading his friend monkeys. Then they line up, and Krishna is happy to see the monkeys, so he gives them the monkeys, and they eat as much butter and yogurt as they can. And then Krishna gives some to Madhu. Madhu's eating it. Now Krishna's thinking, I want some. So now he reaches in, grabs a handful of butter, and oh, what happened? And they ran out of the house. Madhu says to Krishna, what happened? I thought you said the bells were not going to ring. Krishna said, yeah, I can't figure that out. I'm going to find out. So he calls the demigod of bells. And there's a demigod for everything. So there's one that's in charge of bells. So he comes, and he's all dressed in bells. And he offers his obeisances to Krishna. He says, my dear Lord, you call me? He said, yes. I ordered you not to ring. Why did you ring? He said, that is true, but we also understand every time you eat, we have to ring. So Krishna's defeated. Doesn't know what to say. And then Prabhavati comes out of the house, runs, grabs Krishna by the hand, says, I couch you, now I'm going to take you to Mother Yasoda, and she's going to punish you. So Krishna's caught in trouble now. But then she's thinking, when I go, I have to pass by Nanda Maharaj, and he's so lenient. He never punishes Krishna, so I have to hide Krishna. So she takes her sari, puts it over the head of Krishna. She's holding his hand at the same time as she's walking. And so she passes by Nanda Maharaj. She comes into the house. Mother Yasoda's there. Hey, Mataji. I caught him. Here he is. caught him stealing my butter. And then she lifts up her sari. And then Mother Yasoda says, that's not my son, that's your son. And she looks, and it's her own son. Mother Yasoda says, don't worry, I know you've been working hard, so go home, take some rest. So she's bewildered, she doesn't know what to think. She walks out, and as she's going out, Krishna runs up to her and says, next time you do that, I'm going to become your husband. So the message of this story is, if you're with Krishna, you always win. So Krishna never loses. He's undefeatable, he's unconquerable, he always wins. So we take shelter of Krishna, who can give us full protection and complete satisfaction in our devotional life. So his pastimes are so sweet, and they charm the hearts of his devotee. One time Krishna was with his cowherd friends, and they were out in the fields, and Krishna had just killed a big demon. Because Kamsa kept sending demons to Vrindavan, thinking that, the omen he heard earlier was that Krishna was going to be the cause of his death. And in his previous life, Krishna killed him. He was Kalanemi, and he was killed by Lord Nrsingadev. So he's thinking, I have to do something to kill Krishna. So he sent so many demons, but every demon failed. Every demon was killed, or some of them ran back and got away and were not killed, but they said, forget it, you can't, this boy is special. So this big demon was killed by Krishna. So all the cowherd boys, they got around Krishna and they said, hey Krishna, how did you do that? That was a big demon. And yesterday I beat you in wrestling and I couldn't kill that demon. Yeah, another boy said, yeah, yesterday I stole your lunch and you were crying. I can't kill that demon. How'd you do it? Krishna, he's not saying anything. He's quiet. So they're guessing. So one boy says, yeah, it's his mother. She gives them, every time he leaves in the morning, she gives him a demon-killing mantra. And so he chants that mantra. His mother's powerful. Another boy said, yeah, that's almost right. But what she does is she puts this mantra inside of his armlets and amlets on his legs and his arms, and he carries that with him, and therefore the demons can't hurt him. He can kill demons. So they're all guessing, going back and forth. And Krishna's not saying anything. He's just completely quiet. And then Krishna says, you want to know? Yeah. They all get excited. So they gather around. Now Krishna's going to tell them how he kills demons. He said, well, when I was born, my mother and my father had a secret meeting with this sadhu. And he came to speak to my father, and he said that this boy of yours is as good as Lord Narayan. And then he said to my father, actually, he is Lord Narayan. So Krishna turns to his cowherd friends and says, if you want to know, I'm God. And they all start laughing. Now he thinks he's God. And they're laughing and laughing and laughing, and Krishna's laughing, and everybody's just laughing. And they laugh so much they forgot why they were laughing. And after some time, Krishna said, all right, let's go play. So in Vrindavan, they don't really care or even want to know, because all they do is they love Krishna because he's Krishna. He's the beautiful, charming boy of Vrindavan that plays on the flute, that has so many thousands of girlfriends. Some people want to be like Krishna, so they try that. But they fail miserably. They wound up paying alimony. So this is, nobody can imitate Krishna because Krishna is the supreme enjoyer, and he welcomes each and every one of us to take part, to enjoy with him. When we serve the Lord, we actually connect with the Lord in devotion. Through service, we're connected. Because serving the Lord, or serving the spiritual master who represents the Lord, is as good as serving Krishna directly. Because the spiritual master comes to teach us our relationship with Krishna and how we can experience that relationship through serving Krishna. But serving Krishna is done according to how we should serve Krishna. There's so many ways we can serve Krishna. But Krishna says the best way you can serve me is serve those who are serving me. Find ways to serve those who have dedicated their lives to serving me. And that, as Krishna says in one Purana, it's called the Adi Purana, he who says he's my devotee is not my devotee. He who says he's a devotee of my devotee is actually my devotee. To get the mercy of Krishna means to serve the devotees. And the more we serve the devotees, the more we actually connect with Krishna in devotional service, because the devotees for Krishna are very dear to Krishna. Krishna even says, my devotees are more dear to me than I am to myself. To become Krishna's devotee is a very special and very privileged part of having the mercy of the Lord. And one who serves, those who serve also become devotees, and therefore Krishna becomes very pleased. When Krishna is pleased, taktva deham purna janmani maiti mameti sorjuna, the door to spiritual life is wide open. One can easily go back home, back to Godhead, simply by serving the Vaishnavas. But there's one other thing that connects with that service, and that is to glorify Krishna by chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. How many of you were, when you were kids, some of you are still kids, how many of you played one game called hide and seek? Well, this is like a popular game. I think every country in the world, kids grew up with this game of hide and seek. So Krishna likes to play that game also. So one time Krishna was there, and he wanted to play hide and seek, and Radharani was there, and many of the gopis were also there. Are these pastimes boring to you? Do you want me to speak more philosophy, like you're not this body? I thought I would speak a little bit about the pastimes of the Lord, but I see everybody is wandering around and doing other things. Okay, there's a few of you who are listening. The closer you are to the front, the more you listen. Can you hear me in the back? Okay. Can you hear me in the back? Yes. Okay, very good. Thank you. So, the game was Radharani had to hide, and all of the devotees, Krishna and all the gopis had to hide, and Krishna and Radharani had to find everybody. So Radharani comes out, everyone's hiding, and this connects to what I just said before I started the pastime. So she's looking this way and that way. Nitai. Nitai Chaitanya Bolo Nache Amar Man. Nache Amar Man. Nache Amar Man. Bolo Nitai Chaitanya Bolo Nache Amar Man. Nache Amar Man. Nache Amar Man. Bolo Nitai Chaitanya Bolo Nache Amar Man. welcome you. Thank you. So Radharani's looking this way and that way, trying to find the different gopis in Krishna. So every time she gets close to a gopi, the gopi starts laughing, because the gopis have so much affection, love for Radharani, and when she gets close, they laugh. They feel happy, and they can't hide, and she catches all the gopis. But now she has to catch Krishna. That's a tough one. Krishna doesn't like to lose. So she's going this way, that way. She gets closer to Krishna. Krishna changes positions. He's going this way and that way, and she's thinking, where's that rascal? I can't find him. So Krishna's going farther into the mountains. And then she thinks, I know. She starts singing. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Vivo, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, hey, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Ram Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Gauranga, hey Krishna. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Wow! Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Gaur. Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol. Jaya Radha Damodar, Radha Damodar, Shri Radhe. Shri Shri Radha Damodara, Radha Damodara, Shri Radhe. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol. So Krishna hears her singing the holy name. And he freezes, can't move. And then she goes and she catches him. She says, I caught you. Krishna says, you cheated. And she says, you're just a bad loser. So if you want to catch Krishna, this is the most recommended Krishna trap. Because it catches him completely. Radharani shows the way by singing the glories of the holy name, and Krishna becomes captured. So this is Radha Damodar. His pastimes indicate his sweetness. People have different conceptions of God, depending on your lifestyle. If you are thief, or if you are doing something wrong, God to you is somebody that's going to punish you. And you're thinking, I have to somehow or other. Of course, God knows everything. He finds out. He can't hide anything. So there are people who have the fear of God because they know if they don't do the right thing, then they'll get punished. But that conception of God is really kind of unpleasant. To have to see the Lord as your punisher if you don't behave properly. There's others who see the Lord as, well, I want to be happy, so I'll worship God. But then when they worship God and they're not happy, then they start worshiping something else. Their wife, their husband, their kids, their bank balance, their pav bhaji, so many things they worship, Belpuri, or Belpuri. So people worship everything. So when they want to become happy, and Krishna doesn't give them the happiness that they expect when they worship Krishna, they look for some other form to get happy. But that's also not a very, what we say, satisfiable way to see God. But then there's those who say, well, God is the supreme source of everything, and I am his servant, so it's my duty to worship God, and it's my benefit to worship God. So they're on a good platform. They worship God because they know that there's no other purpose in life than to worship the Lord, or glorify the Lord, to serve the Lord, to try to somehow please the Lord by our activities. So they're nicely situated. But then higher than that, and the most satisfying, is to worship God out of love. And until we come to that stage of loving God and exhibiting our love in the form of serving God, we cannot really feel the complete happiness that we're destined to achieve. So love is the answer. So how do you love Krishna? Satatam kirtayanto mam, chant the glories of the Lord. When the Lord is pleased with you, he gives you his mercy. When he gives you his mercy, your love increases. You hear about the Lord's pastimes. Satam prasangam mamavirya samvido bhavanti ritkarna rasayana katha. That this rasayana, sweetness, comes from katha. What is that katha? Krishna katha. Or Ram katha. Any of the incarnations of the Lord, but the sweetest of the sweetest is Krishna. And therefore Krishna's pastimes are so way above all of the pastimes of the incarnations of the Lord. Of course, there are many who enjoy hearing about Ram's pastimes. There are Ram Bhaktas. There are Nishringa Bhaktas who like when demons get killed. So they're also worshiping. And we have in our tradition devotees who worship the Lord in his different forms. Dhruva Maharaj worshipped the Lord in his four-handed form as Prishnigarbo, the four-handed form, who was a Vaikuntha manifestation of the Lord. So there are different forms of the Lord by which one can focus their consciences. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has taught us and demonstrated in his own life that the best and most satisfying and complete worship is to worship Krishna as a cowherd boy in Vrindavan. That is the most complete and the most sweetest, because there he exhibits his full manifestation of the Godhead. All of the names, all of the forms, all of the qualities, all of the pastimes are found within Krishna. Everything is there within Krishna. And one who becomes attracted to Krishna through hearing about Krishna will find that there's no other form of attraction that can capture one's attention. Krishna is all powerful and he attracts our attention completely. We can find complete satisfaction and happiness just hearing about Krishna. And Krishna is so wonderful and he's so kind. He makes himself easily available. But we have to approach Krishna through his devotees. There's a beautiful story where the devotees do not want Krishna to worship them. Sometimes we ask Krishna when we say, Rupam Dehi, Yaso Dehi, Dhanam Jai Dehi, that's a big one. Janam Dehi, give me wealth, give me followers, give me some fame in this material or something. But that's not worship, that's business. And sometimes Krishna will check out and put on his business hat and say, okay, what do you want? You want something material? Okay, here, take it and suffer. Because you think it's going to make you happy. But even if it gives you some satisfaction, you lose it. Time takes it away. But there's one thing time cannot take away, and one thing time brings about something, and that is our relationship with Krishna. Krishna is always with us, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, every second, every moment. He sits within your heart, but he's always there within his manifestation as Krishna in Vrindavan. And he's always trying to attract the living entities. How does he do that? He plays his flute. And when he plays his flute, the whole world becomes stunned hearing the sound of Krishna's flute. I was just hearing one devotee was saying that he was chanting japa one day, and his japa was so good that he could hear Krishna's ankle bells while he was chanting japa. Now that's pretty good. But when Krishna plays his flute, the rocks melt. Hard stones actually turn into liquid. Krishna plays his flute. When Krishna plays his flute, the birds get stunned and they can't fly anymore. The cows are eating grass and they just stop, and their mouth is full of grass, but they're not chewing anymore. When Krishna plays his flute, the rivers, they stop flowing and then they start dancing by exhibiting their waves in one place. Krishna's flute charms the entire creation. But guess what's higher than Krishna's flute? Who knows what is even better than Krishna's flute? One musical instrument that's even more effective than Krishna's flute. I don't know if I worded that exactly right, but there's a discussion because Srimati Radharani plays the veena and Krishna plays the flute. So Krishna's flute attracts Radharani, Radharani's veena attracts Krishna. So one who attracts Krishna, that's the highest. So the veena is more glorious than the flute because it attracts Krishna. There's a discussion. There's one particular pastime between Krishna's flute and Radharani's veena. They're discussing. And the flute is saying, oh, your master, Radharani, her veena is the best. And the veena is saying, actually, no, your master, Krishna's flute, is the best. And they're glorifying each other. They're saying each other is better than them. And they're going back and forth, just speaking the glories. But then finally, the flute realizes he lost. That Radharani's veena can attract Krishna. And therefore, anything that can attract Krishna is superior to everything else. So there's a nice story where it was Sanatan Goswami's birthday, one of the 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan. And Sanatana Goswami was a personification of dainya, humility. We have a conference in the back there. Okay. There's a GBC meeting going on. Okay. Okay, so, and Sanatana Goswami, he is humility personified. It was his birthday. And Rupa Goswami, his younger brother, wanted to do something to honor his brother on his birthday. So he was thinking, I'd like to make him something that he would really like. Maybe some sweet rice. But how can I do it? I'm only we don't have anything. Where am I going to get milk? Where am I going to get rice? Where am I going to get the ingredients? So he's lamenting. And then there's one beautiful, little, sweet-natured girl. She says, hey, Baba, I got something for you. I just came from the village, and I have some extra milk and some rice and some sugar, so I want to give it to you. And he's thinking, wow, just what I wanted. So he takes it from her, and she says, I have to go. So she leaves fast. And he was thinking, who's that girl? And then he forgets about it. And then he starts making this wonderful preparation. The best of all milk and the best of all rice. So many nice sweeteners. You getting hungry? No. and he prepares this big pot of sweet rice. And that evening, on the birthday of the Sanatana Goswami, he visits. And he said, my dear brother, all glories to you. I want to give this on your appearance, so please accept it. And he opens it up, and it's so fragrant. It's just looking at it, one becomes desiring it. So Sanatana Goswami says, oh, this is very nice. So he starts tasting it. And as he's tasting it, he's enjoying it, but then he's starting to think, how did you get all this stuff? We don't have anything. We're living here as mendicants. We have to go out and beg rotis, chickpeas, and whatever else people give us. Where did you get all this? How did you do that? He said, well, my dear brother, I wanted to cook something nice, and I was praying, and then this girl from the village, she came, and then she gave me all of these ingredients. And then Sanatana Goswami, can you describe that girl? Then he starts to think, Rupa Goswami, and he starts to describe, and he says, and Sanatana Goswami said, this is not good. That was Srimati Radharani. We don't accept service from Radharani, we give service to Radharani. So although he was happy, at the same time he was teaching that we should never ask the Lord for anything. We should always be thinking how to serve the Lord. And Krishna, as Prabhupada used to say, what can you give to Krishna with 2 hands that he's holding with 10? And what can you keep in 2 hands that he's taken away with 10? So Krishna can give you more than you can possibly imagine. And when he's pleased, he gives himself, which is the ultimate gift, of course. But in the meantime, he gives the devotees everything they need. He takes care of the devotees. The devotees have no anxiety. Whatever they need, Krishna will take care of. And if you don't get what you want, that means you didn't need it. Because we need things, we want things that we don't really need, that are not really going to be helpful to our existence in this material world. So Krishna won't give you those. But we think, why is he? I'm praying to Krishna. Please give me that girl over there. And then Krishna says, it's not going to work. And you're thinking, I got to keep trying. So you get that girl, and then I was hearing this one statement today. There's one boy, he was about to get married. So his father calls him up on the day before the marriage. And he says, I'm calling you up today to wish you a very, very happy day. And his father, this boy says, well, tomorrow's the marriage. He says, I know that. Hare Krishna. Some of you didn't get that, but that's okay. So, yeah. So we get what we want, but it doesn't give us what we expect. So, but if we just serve Krishna, pray to Krishna, and glorify Krishna, and make our life connected with Krishna, Krishna will take care of you 100%. He does. He takes care of his devotees. He gives protection. He gives nourishment. He gives you everything you need. And if things don't go the way you want, you actually can understand, I didn't need it. Devotees understand that way. So Krishna is always there for his devotees. So there's, when we make Krishna our only focus in life, you might say, well, how do we do that? I have family, I have occupation, I have other responsibilities. Yes, go ahead. But those things are extra. They might be necessary to keep the body intact, but our real success in life, or the happiness we're looking for life, doesn't come from something material. Because we are not material. We have a body, but we're not the body. We're a pure soul, and that soul is looking for the ultimate principle of happiness, which is found in our relationship with Krishna. And we exhibited that relationship by chanting the holy names of the Lord. Prabhupada used to say, 16 rounds on beads, innumerable rounds off the beads. He says, when you're actually chanting the holy names of the Lord, you'll think, why 16 rounds? Why not 16,000 rounds? In other words, the chanting takes your consciousness into areas of unlimited happiness that you think, though everything else stops, the world becomes just perfect. In other words, the happiness you experience through chanting, through serving, and especially through hearing about the glories of the Lord and all of his wonderful pastimes. Mother Yasoda, she tied up Krishna during this month. That is called Damodara Lila. And Krishna allowed his mother just to tie him up, just to show that actually he's conquered by her love. Krishna doesn't like to get tied up. Krishna doesn't like to be restricted. But he allowed his mother to do that just because her love was so strong that just to satisfy her love, he allowed himself to get tied up. That's Krishna. Now Krishna will do that, and he gives himself to his devotee. It says it's not easy to catch Krishna, because there's only way you can catch Krishna, and that is by bhakti. Bhaktyamam avijananti yavanyas tattvataha. Only by devotion can I be caught. He said, only by undivided devotional service can I be understood as I am. He's speaking to Arjuna, standing before you. Only in this way can you enter into the mysteries of my existence. By bhakti. So what is bhakti? Bhakti is the nature of the soul. So in this world, we want to please our friends, we want to please our family members, we want to please people in general. But if we turn our attention to pleasing Krishna, and work in such a way as to whatever we do, we offer it to Krishna. Krishna says, Yat karosi yadanasi, Yat jahosi tadasti yat, Yat tapasi tukunte, Yat tadkurusham namararpanam. All that you do, all that you eat, all that you offer and give away, as well as all austerities you perform should be done as an offering to me. Krishna likes exclusive attention. He's a greedy God. But he knows this is what will give you the happiness you're looking for when you make Krishna everything. And Krishna is everything. That means when you get Krishna, at least to a certain degree, whatever else in life you're looking for, you find it through Krishna. Sometimes you get it, and sometimes you don't get it, but it doesn't matter, because when you have Krishna, you're satisfied. You're happy. Krishna is always with his devotee. And through the chanting of the holy name, to serving the Vaishnavas, as we serve others, we please Krishna. Krishna likes when we serve his devotees, when we please his devotees, when we take time to associate with devotees and serve together to somehow or other create a environment where everyone is thinking how to serve Krishna nicely by serving each other. This is Krishna consciousness. So we have these gatherings where devotees come together to hear the glories of the Lord. But this is actually life. This is natural. To live in this material world, we have to do things that are difficult just to maintain ourselves. And we do it because we feel that's necessary. But actually, it's just done because we feel like if we don't do it, we can't maintain ourselves or we can't become happy. But actually, just like I'll tell you a story which you won't like. Is that okay? It's not that I wanted to see you suffer, but it's a very interesting story. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was with his associate Srivas Thakur. Now Srivas Thakur is a householder. He has a big family, extended family. There are many brothers and wives and children all living together. So Lord Chaitanya said, "Hey, Srivas, you don't do any occupation. You don't work. You got a big family. How do you live?" And Srivas answered by he went, clapped 3 times. Lord Chaitanya says, what does that mean? Well, Srivas said, one day, if Krishna doesn't take care of me and my family, 2 days, if he neglects us, 3 days, if he doesn't provide what we need, I jump in the Ganges and drown myself. When Lord Chaitanya heard that, he roared. He roared so loud that the universe shook. He said, Srivas! Even if the goddess of fortune, Lakshmi, has to go from door to door with a begging bowl, there will always be food in your house. So what was he saying? Srivas had complete faith. Simply by serving the Lord would take care of everything. So you can translate that into so many ideas, like, should I quit my job? If you ask me, I say, don't quit your job unless you have the faith of Srivas. Because if you have the faith of Srivas, it works. If you don't have his faith, it doesn't work. It's based on faith. So we're explaining how that faith is developed when we depend on Krishna in every situation. And by serving Krishna, you think Krishna doesn't take care of you. He's taking care of, Prabhupada said, the elephants in the jungles. They eat 40 kgs every day. They're not working. The monkeys, they don't do anything that cause mischief, and they get food. I just came from Vrindavan just today, and we see monkeys all around. They're jumping this way and that way, looking to steal something. But they don't go hungry. They always get something. So none of them go to work, have a job. So why do we have to work? Because we think that's the way we can live. But if we serve the Lord, then we might say, well, I am serving the Lord, but I have to maintain my family. Yes, you should do that. But if you have full faith that if I simply serve the Lord 24 hours a day, He'll take care of me, that faith will carry you to that level of experience. But don't do it unless you have that faith. So how do you get that faith? Sadhu Sangha, Sadhu Sangha, Sadhu Sastri Hoy, Savlava Matta, Sadhu Sangha, Sarva Siddhi Hoy, by associating with and serving Vaishnavas and chanting the holy names of the Lord. Then we start to understand that Krishna is everything. Krishna Mata, Krishna Pita, Krishna Dhanapran. Yeah, Krishna is everything. And so there's nowhere other place to go but to the lotus feet of the Lord. And take shelter of Krishna's representative, the spiritual master, and serve the spiritual master. And the spiritual master is inclined, because it's his duty to serve Krishna by bringing others to Krishna. That's his only business. It's not that he has to do his emails. That's part of his business too. It's like we have Nitai here. His spiritual master has put out so many books. What is he's writing? Hundreds of books, not just 100 books, 200, hundreds of books just to inspire people in Krishna consciousness from different angles of vision. That's Krishna consciousness. That's what a spiritual master does. Thinks of ways to reach people with this message of devotion, with the message of surrender. To attract people to Krishna, to attract people to the idea that Krishna is all I need. And because Krishna is everything, when you get Krishna, you get everything. I mean, I don't work. I remember when I used to do Sankirtan when I was young. I was, in my 20s. I would go to people. This is in America. So sometimes people would say, why don't you get a job and do something like the rest of us, be normal? I said, I retired when I was 24. And I don't collect unemployment either. I said, my job is to serve the Lord. And this has, a lifelong pension. You get fringe benefits. You also get vacation. And you don't have to punch in. It has all the benefits of life that comes by when you take up Krishna as this exclusive focus in your life. Then life becomes so easy and natural. Krishna consciousness is easy. To be successful in the material world, my God, you have to work like an ass. And everybody's trying to tear you down anyway. It's dog eat dog out there. I was just talking to some devotees from America, and they say, oh my God, they were telling me, don't send anyone to America right now. The place is a mess. Those of you who are following the news, things are falling apart. One of my disciples who has a job with the government, he lost it. He's not going to get that job back. He has no other alternative. So I told him, go back to India. He said, yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do. So I told him, come back to India. And, this life is a little easy, because in America right now, everything's falling apart. People are losing their job. People who are working 2 jobs are standing in food lines just to get food, even though they're working. it's a crisis right now in America. It's really the whole social and economic thing is up in the air. Whether it irons itself out, we don't know, but this is the indication of when we take up material life, there are so many, what we say, unexpected problems that come. Nothing is guaranteed. But when you serve Krishna, Krishna says, Patram Pushpam Phalam Toyam Yome Bhakta Panashyati Taraham Bhakta Uparitam Asnami Vayatat Manaha. If you offer me with love, leaf, flower, fruit, and water, I accept. If he accepts your offering, then your life is successful. And of course, with love means, my dear Lord, I want to please you. Here, accept this nice flower. You see Radharani, she's standing next to Krishna. She's holding a flower to give to Krishna. Prabhupada said, if you give Radharani the flower and say, Radharani, could you give that flower to Krishna? Then Krishna will take that flower. Mm-hmm. If you give it to Krishna directly, he might say, where'd you get the flower? Whose garden did you pick it from? No, he won't say that. But if you give it to Srimati Radharani, he can't refuse anything Radharani offers because her love is perfect. Therefore, even if he doesn't want to accept it, he accepts it because it's full with it's given with love. That's Krishna. So yeah. And to go deeper into our relationship with Krishna means Shravanam, to hear more about Krishna and to serve Krishna in different ways. Always think, how can I serve Krishna? How can I serve Krishna's devotees? What can I do now that will connect me more and more with the mercy of Krishna? And Krishna is very merciful, very merciful. And he comes to this material world just to give his mercy to the conditioned souls by performing these pastimes here in this material world. It's just so the devotees here can get attracted. That purifies their heart and that qualifies them to go back home, back to Godhead. So he comes to pick us up out of this material world. Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata bhutanam adharmasya tatatmaham sujami aham. So he comes just to inspire his devotees. They say he also comes to kill demons and to reestablish religious principles when religious principles are destroyed. But these are secondary, and he doesn't have to come for those, but he comes specially for his devotees. Especially for his devotees. And what does Krishna have to do in this material